Okay, moving on to Department of Health. Anything we need to know from the Department of Health?
I'm standing in for Bill. My name is Kyle. And basically, Bill went out with Dick to take water samples, so we're kind of deferring to wait for results.
To Dick, yep. Yeah, and I contacted the aquarium because there's a young lady there that has been trained by NOAA to identify hazardous algae blooms, and she has not gotten back to me, so. And with all the menhaden that I saw in the area, I tend to go along with what Dick was told. It's not worth worrying about at this point.
Right.
Okay, Harbor Commission, Jeff isn't here and I made a mistake. John should not be here. The only thing that we need to worry about with the Harbor Commission is they received Steve?
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Kibbe is on as a participant. I was wondering if he could be shifted into the main meeting.
Good point.
Moderator, are you capable
There,
of doing that?
He's on.
He's on.
Okay,
Alan,
great.
can you hear us? Alan, you're muted.
Here I am. Hello.
How you doing, Alan?
I'm doing great.
I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Anything you would like this group to know about, especially the Eversource plans for what's going on with the harbor?
In our last meeting, we concluded that we were going to hire a consultant, or not hire, work with a consultant, power transmission consultant we worked with previously when this all started, to do a peer review of the project as it stands now in terms of the electrical transmission design.
And Jeff said he got a document from them, and I don't know if all of you got it. If you didn't, I will ship it out to all of you. Steve, did you get a copy of that from Eversource and the City Council?
Of the application?
To be honest, I didn't get a chance to look at it yet.
Yeah.
Sent it out
We had the
today.
application at our last meeting. That's what we reviewed.
Okay. I'll make sure you all get a copy of it. Basically, if the Siting Council said gave a thumbs up to Eversource, at this point, the only thing we can do is react to it and try to get DEEP to say this is not a good idea, or to change their plan somehow, making it a good idea. So it's in an interesting purgatory right now. I hope. Okay, anything else from the Harbor Commission you'd like this group to know, Alan?
Just that we've been invited to another, the second stakeholders meeting for the bridge construction project. This will be the second meeting I've been to. There's a lot of, it seems to me there's a lot of communication difficulties going on with the community. So it'll be interesting to see how this next meeting on June 9th plays out.
Okay. Is it for the entire Harbor Commission?
No, it's really the Marine unit. It's me. It's the harbor master are the people involved.
Gotcha. Okay. Planning and zoning, we don't have anybody here from that. And Dick, we can actually, we can call on you as what for PFAS sampling in the Norwalk River. Now, just review what you did previously and what your plans are for the future, please.
Okay, well, thanks to Louise Washer, I was dialed in on what the dangers are from all these playing fields. So what we did, and I guess I gave you the report a couple of weeks ago, we went out and surveyed the land that the playing fields are going to be placed on. found that they were pretty much loaded with, several compounds, PFOS and PFOA. The worst two were well represented. The Norwalk Fields is particularly bad because I think there's a firehouse up on the, that would be the southwest corner that has been playing with foam, and the area is pretty well soaked with various forms of PFOS. We also have the difficulties there of the well fields. The well field people don't want to talk to us. They apparently had difficulties meeting the old standard of 70 parts per trillion. Whether they can even meet the new standards of 10 parts per trillion for PFOS and 16 parts per trillion for PFOA, we don't know. And on top of that, the EPA came out about a month ago and said, well, fellows, we're going to give you a 4 parts per trillion as a goal for both those products. But the good news is it's not going to go into effect until September of 2024. And then you got 9 months to comply. And I just think that what has compounded this whole issue, Joe, the Environment Committee had SB 100 ready to go out, $75 million to help the shoreline communities deal with PFOS in their drinking water and with their various taxing districts. They've culled the money. It's not going anywhere. It's killed. And I just don't know what we're going to do. The state doesn't have criteria yet. We're doing surface water sampling. We're doing much of anything. And there's very few places that have been tested at all. I would think that our deal on the Silvermine River and also Norwalk River is new to everybody. Both rivers are polluted. And I now think that Louise and I have been talking, what we're going to do, there's a much cheaper test that came out. The old tests with York Laboratories are $295 a piece. They now have another unit called Cyclopure. Those tests are $79, and that includes processing and shipping back to the factory. So we're going to do another run and duplicate those tests and see how the two processes compare, for one thing. And I'm still under trying to find enough money to do Saugatuck River and 5 Mile River. So I think we should do all 4 of them, and we ought to be able to present those to the state. Oh, and get this. I have now got the ultimate in testing equipment. We had everything made out of metal. We have one set of gear made for York's particular samples and another set made for Cyclopure. So I'm getting to a point where nobody's going to be able to say, oh, you contaminated this or that. And when I talked to Christopher Pickens, who was a state lab director, he said, you know, Dick, he said, are you getting clear blanks? And we are. And he said, if you're doing that, he said, your testing's probably okay. But we've gone the extra step so that we're going to be bulletproof on anybody coming back and saying that we violated some procedure. The state doesn't even have a procedure. If you guys have seen the map of all the testing that's gone on around this state, around our state, from all the different states, you'll see that it looks like they're riddled with shotgun pellets, where the state of Connecticut is one big bare spot. And I'm getting kind of worried about this. I mean, I'm wondering where we're going to go with it. All of you do know that the Wilton playing field got shot down. You know that? It got shot down for a number of reasons. One, that we tested it and got them all upset. They didn't even know what PFOS was. They do now. Louise put on a seminar with 2 experts that left everybody gasping in the aisle. If you walked away from that and thought there was a good playing field around, you got a problem. And the biggest one of all was Wilton tried to extract $1.3 million from the school budget and then add 6 mills on the taxing base. That was the final straw, and it went down in a vote. So we got 1 down. The next 3 that are looming are Norwalk, and the Common Council doesn't seem to be too red hot about approving them. So maybe we got something going for us. Meanwhile, Maine has outlawed them. Vermont has outlawed them. New York and Massachusetts are working on outlawing them. So we may be getting to a point where it's beginning to be the tipping point. We can get rid of them in this state. There was a bill put together last year to outlaw them, and of course that got shot down. So that's my story.
I want to add one clarification about Cyclopure. It is less expensive, but it is not a certified lab that tests it. So we're seeing it as screening, and then if we hit some hot spots, we'll go back and do the next level testing. So it's just a more affordable way for us to do more parts of the watershed
Compare
Right.
the tests.
and compare. Yeah.
You should know, though, that the majority of testing that's going on all around us in the other states is Cyclopure. They're not buying the high price spread. The high price spread is really bulletproof. We get testing done with that. There's very little error in that.
Well, Dick, if you think back to our younger days, when we started using the Lamont test kits, they weren't considered EPA protocol. And it wasn't after they had been used for a period of time that we no longer had to do the old Winkler titrations to
That's right.
approve the dissolved oxygen levels. And it just took time. So it may be just a matter of a lot of people using the Cyclopure test, and then every once in a while backing that up with a lab certified test. And if everybody's coming back with the same answers, it's pretty hard not to certify something like that. Not unless some politician has their hand in a pocket of these labs that do the testing, which I hope not.
Oh, one quick thing. As you know, Joe, we took some cores from Pear Tree Point and also Norwalk Harbor to test for the presence of nicotinoid pesticides. Because we saw some previous cores that were done by another outfit that didn't even look at them. I finally got Cornell to take them and do the test. I had them test 1 inch down and 6 inches down. Our cores are only a foot deep. They found no nicotinoids. So we just got that answer last week. That's good news.
Now, Dick, you're probably more well-read on that than I am at this point. Is that because they break down quicker and tend not to get trapped in the sediments? Or do you think
No,
they've been taken up by the life that's in the water?
they're not known to break down quickly. Louise, you can add on that too.
Yeah, the different ones have different lifespans, but some last 5 years. Dick and I want to be able to test surface water, but there's not a way to yet. Right, Dick?
Right.
And
Surface water is,
we need to do it in the spring after a rain,
yeah,
need-
surface water is our next target, and nobody wants to do those either. So it's an uphill fight.
Thanks, Dick. Any other good news for us?
No.
Okay, appreciate the work. Diane sent a note. Did all of you get a copy of that note that she sent out? Okay, is there a reason to go over it at this point, or should we just have it included, especially the changes that she had for the minutes? Steve?
Yeah, I'll move that email be entered into the record.
Okay, second on that?
Okay.
Okay, we will enter it on record. And Kyle, I'll make sure you get a copy of that. Or did you get a copy already?
No, if it came to Bill, it might have come to Bill, so I don't know.
Okay. You have my email address. Just send me an email with test on it, and then I'll send that to you, and that could be included in the minutes.
Okay, will do.
And basically what she said is she also did not find, she did not complete the directory of who to call. She's still working on it, and hopefully when she gets some answers, she'll be able to complete that document. Now, under new business, Bill had called me 2 days ago and said there were complaints about red stuff in the water. And Dick, you and Bill went out, and Dick did sampling. He took samples of the algae. I do know from my work on the aquarium boat this was a time of year we would get a tremendous amount of dinoflagellates. And it was a very heavy concentration of them compared to the other algae. And once in a while, we would see algae that was so red that the water, it looked almost like blood. Now, for me, that's a problem. And the reason I say that's a problem, I can be at the shore and staff will say to me, the water's red. Well, that's one of the colors. My color blindness doesn't help me see. So I have to take other people's word for it that the water is red. But just based on a conversation Dick and I had earlier, this is not unusual. This has been going on for years and years and years. And what we hope for is it's not what they call an HAB, harmful algae bloom. So we have to wait and see how this plays out. Now, the good news is with a lot of bunker in the area, they'll eat it. And they'll cruise the harbors and clean up what's there. And when they run out of it, they'll move on to the next harbor and the next harbor and the next harbor. And Steve, you're lucky because they're right now doing a good job down in 5 Mile River. But the downside of that is we didn't see anything grazing on the bunker. We didn't see striped bass. We didn't see any bluefish. And what was even more concerned, I heard osprey, but I didn't see them feeding. So they were out there, but they weren't picking up the bunker and feeding on them. So we'll end that unless anybody has any questions on the red algae. Okay, PFAS. I think we're good with what Dick told us. And Eversource plans for drilling. Alan, can you enlighten this group as to what their plan, the last plan was that they sent to you?
In broad terms, they're going to open excavate from kind of the back of 25 Van Zandt Street down Fort Point Street from that location.
Yep.
Van Zandt Street underneath part of Route 136 there, Seabreeze, whatever, along across from Vets Park. So that's going to be one lane of traffic each way, where we now have 4 lanes of traffic as you approach the bridge from the east. So I was surprised at that bit of it. Then at the corner of Veterans Park, there'll be the splice faults are going to be in the street on Route 136, just before the Struffelina Bridge. And they're going to bear left from there. They're going to go do their drilling from the corner of Vets Park and go straight across to, I'm not sure the lot number that it is. It's opposite Elizabeth Street, and the splice bunker on that side, or the splice vault on that side, will be in the middle, right smack in the middle of one of those vacant lots. I'm not sure which one. And then it will continue down Elizabeth Street, open excavation all the way down to the lot behind the police station, and then reconnect at that location. That's the big picture.
Now, as a point of information, Chris McCarthy and I both asked them about their splice bunkers that they're going to put up, because the areas that they're going to be in floods. And they emphatically said they were watertight.
Right.
But they were not going to be raised. They weren't going to be put above flood level. I just hope, should they flood, that we don't find citizens doing the funky chicken in the water from electrical charges that are discharged from those boxes. That could be tragic. Okay, is there anybody here from the public?
There is one attendee named Linnell Jones.
Does she wish to add anything?
I've added her to the panelists so she can speak now.
No, thank you. I'm just listening.
Thank you very much. Okay, then the next item is the reading and approval of minutes from May 4. Anybody have any suggestions other than what Diane submitted? And we're gonna include those in the minutes, so they will be, and the changes will be entered. But any other changes that any of you saw that you need to address? Okay. Then if there are no changes, can I have somebody approve the minutes with the changes Diane sent in?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second? Is there a second? Okay. So minutes, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Then we're at a good point. Next meeting is July 6th. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Oh, Joe, this is Jeff. I'm sorry, I just unmuted myself. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Did you want me to say anything about the Eversource? Or I guess you've already talked about it. I didn't realize you'd be through this quickly.
Alan gave us some insight as to what
Oh, okay.
happens.
All
And I don't know if anybody needed any more information. But
right.
if you do, just the other option? No?
I would like to see a sketch of it. Or drawing.
Of the route and all?
Yep.
Yeah, it's on the, well, Joe can forward the application to you. The other place it's easy to find is on the Connecticut Siting Council website.
Okay.
It's project 1560, and the whole original submittal to the Siting Council is there.
The problem now
264
is, Alan,
pages.
it's not, when I looked the other night under pending applications where we saw all this material, it's no longer there.
It's all gone.
It's all gone because they've approved it. And I believe I saved the, all I downloaded to do it on my phone was the statement of approval. I'm assuming that there's some way to get the actual plans that were approved. So I'll try to search for that tonight. And if so, I can provide it to Joe and he can provide it to the others.
Good. Good. Steve?
I believe, Dick, that they'll be attending next hour, the Shellfish meeting. You're certainly welcome to join.
So are we good now? Okay. Can I hear a motion to adjourn then? Then Louise can get on her merry way. And second? All in favor? See you
Thanks,
next
Joe.
month.